Now, because I know these are the last, this is December now. So, of course, there also needs to be some kind of conclusion, I think. Where does this lead up to? For me, this is highly conclusive because I know I've done a lot, I've talked a lot, and it's quite so you also have to let that sink for a while, right? You've done a lot, and then you accept that you've done all of this, and you think, what the fuck? I just did all that. I just look at my YouTube channel and it's just full with stuff. And I don't have to do that anymore. Have to, but in a way, yes, I don't have to do it anymore. Until I will again, and then, things will be different maybe. So what can I do? Well, first of all, I can tell you something. It was New Year's Eve. And we were with 3 people. And now, if you want to incorporate spirituality into your life, you can do so through other people, but other people have their own way of doing it, and other people may not see things as you see them. So just because people say they're spiritual doesn't mean they actually are. For some people it's just more or less a word. So you could say now, well, is he spiritual because he drinks coffee? Right, it's kind of fishy. Is he spiritual because he puts on incense? Is he spiritual because he wears the kind of pants that, you would think spiritual people wear? Or is he spiritual because he has a beard? Or is he spiritual because he can dance like a shaman? Or is he spiritual because, I don't know, he drank ayahuasca or something? No, I can say I am spiritual, and that's why my playlist is called like this, with a capital R. So it's spirit, and to me that's just combined with ritual, spiritual, right? Spiritual, that's for me, it has meaning. That you do everything in a kind of ritualistic way. And that's why when I set up my slackline, what is a ritual? It's basically focus on what you're doing. So when I set up my slackline, it's a ritual. I gather myself beforehand, and when I feel ready, I start. I set it up. And then I go there and I slackline and I keep it together and I open a room full of love. Because everybody who sees me will see that I'm in love with what I'm doing, and that the love is, coming from, I open my heart. And so a ritual is something with kind of set ways. And that's what spirituality is. So it's the combination of ritual and spirit. And spirit, of course, is light. And spirit, of course, is, connection with God. And now you can do ceremonies, which to me then may be something else. For example, what the church does. Or maybe what Satanists do, or some people worshipping dark things or something, or sacrificing animals or humans. To me, I don't say that's a ritual. And it's not spiritual because it's not helping spirit, it helps destroy it. That's what I believe. So for me, spirit is something lightful, lightful. And dark practices are more like something else. What would it be? I don't know. So sacrificing humans, I think, is, and that's the thing, right? In favor of life. It should, spirituality should be favoring life above death. And that's why spiritual people should always be in favor of life. That's why eating vegan, or at least vegetarian, I believe, is more or less a must. Because you have to favor life above death. And that's why in our society, like, death is a very big product and problem. Like, people see death as a problem and something sad. And so they are often more focused on death than on life. And like, no amount of insurances will ever make you feel alive, because that just shows you're afraid of death and you're trying to keep yourself alive at all costs, no matter your bodily condition. But you're also resistant to working for this. And that just is phony and not spiritual to me. Spiritual means moving forward, moving on, letting go, but also selecting the things, that you like in your life. So if you continue to like coffee and you still manage to do yoga and all kinds of stuff. So right now, for me, for example, I can say, maybe I still drink coffee in the morning, but in the evenings I want to do some active stretching and stuff. And when I feel shit about doing so, because I drank coffee and ate too much sugar, well, then it's my problem. I just have to go through with it. And that's when you stop making excuses. And if suddenly doing the yoga exercises becomes more important to you, then at one point you will be happy to maybe sacrifice your coffee addiction or your sugar addiction, because now you find something else. But that's looking for a replacement, right? I know I can get the same effect that I get from drinking coffee and eating sugar through doing yoga. So now it's up to me to implement that into my life, gradually. And I've tried the, all or nothing method, but usually it doesn't work. So now I see where I got already with coffee. And now I try to slowly but surely get rid of it. And until then, it's just observing, reflecting, and to continue to change. Yeah, and I think that's much easier. So it's already an improvement if I already managed to not drink coffee after, let's say, 10 or 11. Or maybe 2, right? It's already an improvement. If I manage that and make that a habit, it's like, for me, some foods, they are no option anymore. I see them and I say, no, that is not an option anymore. It's like dairy. If something has dairy in it, I simply don't eat it. I don't care. It's just out of the question. And the same actually, I said also for meat, but I had to be reminded again. And also it was a kind of special occasion. Not because I ate meat, but because, you know, special for me being with people who eat meat and who then expect me to also eat it. And it's kind of hard to resist that because you feel all these expectations and you don't know, you know, you want to be respectful. And then I realized once more, well, in order to respect others, I disrespected myself and my body and my choices. And if they would be respectful, they would respect that. And then they also have to respect that I won't come back there. It's not my place to be. I did some stuff there, and they appreciated it, but then I also have to call a stop to it. And I don't know if, you know, yeah, actually I know that I will never go there again. Sometimes I say I don't know, but I actually know. And I just have to stick with it. So some decisions are really important to me. It's like, you know, my wife. It's just my wife. And I don't know what will come out of this, but in a way I do, or I hope. But it's just, I've met her, and to be with another woman I would just betray myself, because she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The most beautiful woman, the most beautiful soul, and I cannot imagine ever being with anybody else. Because she's the strongest, toughest, and most beautiful woman I ever saw. And I just fell in love with her in a very short period. Never have I loved anyone like that. And that's why I say it's you or nobody. If it isn't you, then I will remain single. And of course, this is something that also has to sink in. To be prepared to suffer the consequences. And I know, of course, that suffering is actually helping me. So if it turns out, you know, against my feeling, right, or my hopes, it's not her, it will be okay, I will continue anyway. I said that. I am walking my path and I am walking it to the end. And whatever woman wants to walk with me will follow me in a certain direction, because I need to be the penetrating force of that marriage. That's what the male energy is. You charging into the battle of light and shadows. You're charging into it. You're making sure that the light prevails. That's what spirituality is about. The warrior of light. Paulo Coelho. There's a really nice audiobook, or you listen to it, or you read it. I think the Handbook of the Warrior of Light. I was introduced to it by a very fine young man who taught me a lot, but also showed me where anger, resentment and hate gets you, and holding on to these things. And that's why, like, you just have to continue, and always try to choose love as best as you can. But sometimes, you know, your anger can help you to wield the sword, but just, you know, just be prepared that there are always consequences and you may hurt others. And that's just how it is. Well, let's end this video.